A very warm welcome to one and all. Strong women aren't simply born, they are just forged through the challenges in their life. Despite many challenges posed by the society, women have proved their mettle in every sphere across the world. Here is another day to celebrate and honor womanhood on the occasion of International Women's Day 2021. This day sheds light on progress made and to celebrate acts of courage and determination by ordinary women who played an extraordinary role in the history of their countries and communities. It is an occasion for looking back on past struggles and accomplishments, and more importantly, for looking ahead to the untapped potential and opportunities that await future generations of women. Over the years, the essence of Women's Day celebration has evolved and has taken up a novel form.
The campaign theme for International Women's Day 2021 is Choose to Challenge. The idea is to actively challenge stereotypes, fight bias, broaden perceptions, improve situations, and celebrate women's achievements. A challenging world is an alert world, and from challenge comes change. So let's all choose to challenge. The United Nations celebrated the remarkable efforts by women and girls around the globe to shape a more equitable future and the recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic by recognizing the theme for this year as Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. I am welcoming all to join this function through digital platform. As part of this year's International Women's Day celebration, Lpsc has conducted various programs like solo singing, group singing, quiz, elocution, and dub smash competitions through virtual platforms. Tambola, Mehendi, and Rangoli were conducted as live competitions. Blood donation camp was also organized in association with Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Sciences and Lpsc Staff Benevolent Fund. All events were held strictly adhering to COVID-19 protocols.
Let's begin the function by invoking the blessings of the Almighty. I call upon Srimati Rajani J to render the invocation.
Ya kundendu tusharharadhavala Ya shupravastra Ya veena वरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्करप्रभृतिभिर्देवै सदा पूजिता सा पादु सरस्वती भगवती निशेषजाड्यापहा.
Thank you, Srimati Rajani, for such a heart-touching prayer. Let me now invite Srimati Jayashree, Chairperson, IWD Organizing Committee for the year 2021, to deliver the welcome address.
Good day to one and all. Welcome to the valedictory function of Lpsc's Women's Day Celebrations 2021. As you know, the pandemic, although has come under some control, now is in its second year. It has made every one of us to reorder our lives like never before. However, it is gratifying to know that humanity, despite the great suffering, has begun to overcome this crisis too. Let us also proudly note that the pandemic has not dampened the spirit of our institution nor of our Women's Day celebrations. The theme of this year's Women's Day, as declared by the United Nations and adopted by the Indian Space Research Organization, is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World, with the hashtag Choose to Challenge. This year, our Women's Day celebrations were flagged off with a blood donation camp on March 8th, which was followed by several cultural competitions showcasing the talents of our Lpsc fraternity. The efforts put in for this by my colleagues who acted as the focal points were remarkable. Now, let me carry out my assignment of the day, which is to welcome all our distinguished guests and all those who are watching this function. First of all, let me formally welcome the President of the function, Dr. V. Narayanan, Director Lpsc and one of the foremost space scientists of our nation. Sri Narayanan has been an immense source of support for us from the very beginning. Now, let me proudly welcome our chief guest, Dr. K. Vasugi IAS, one of the most outstanding civil servants of Kerala. She has already made an excellent mark in all that she has done for our state during her career. Dr. Vasugi started her career as a medical doctor but opted IAS as she realized she had a larger role to serve our society. It was Dr. Vasugi who implemented the Green Protocol as the Executive Director of Shujitwa Mission. Her initiatives to eliminate plastic waste during the National Games and the Attugal Pongala Festival are highly admired. As the District Collector of Thiruvananthapuram, her role in inspiring and organizing the volunteers for the rehabilitation of efforts during the floods of 2018 is widely recognized. Dr. K. Vasugi is currently serving as the Director, Farm Information Bureau. She is undoubtedly one of the finest professionals of our time and a role model for every woman. Next, I welcome our own senior officials who played a significant role in making this event a grand success. Sri M. S. Suresh, Associate Director Lpsc, Sri A. Shuja, Deputy Director MVIT, Srimati K. N. Saraswati, Controller Lpsc. Now, last but not the least, I welcome all my friends and colleagues who are watching this program. Thank you. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you, ma'am, for your earnest welcome address. On behalf of organizing committee, I extend a warm welcome to you too, ma'am. Today, we have with us our Honorable Director Lpsc, Dr. V. Narayanan. He is a well-known rocket propulsion expert. He led the team which successfully developed the C-25 cryogenic stage and played vital role in the successful launch of GSLV Mark III vehicle in its maiden attempt. He contributed extensively towards the development of semi-cryogenic propulsion systems. He was instrumental in finalizing the liquid propulsion roadmap of ISRO for the next 20 years. I invite Dr. V. Narayanan, Director Lpsc, to deliver the presidential address.
MC members of Lpsc, Chief Guest of the event Dr. K. Vasugi IAS, Chairperson of IWD 2021 Jayasri, Member Secretary Chandana, JCM leaders, adults of President and representatives, women employees of Lpsc, and my dear friends. Very good afternoon to all of you. My greetings to all of you on the celebration of International Women's Day 2021 in Lpsc on partial virtual mode. And I am extremely happy to address the women employees on this function organized to commemorate the International Women's Day celebration, which is done every year on 8th March. I am also happy to see that in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic, our women have come forward to conduct this function in a partial online mode in a very befitting manner. You all know women are wonderful mothers and mother-in-laws, outstanding friend, marvelous daughters and daughter-in-laws, adorable sister and sister-in-laws, and a nice gift from God to man. UN this year's theme for the International Women's Day is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 world. This year, International Women's Day is celebrated by women and girls around this world in shaping a more equal future and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking of testing times, women stand at the front lines of the COVID-19 crisis as healthcare workers, doctors, caretakers, innovators, community organizers, and as someone of the most exemplary and effective national leaders in combating the pandemic. As frontline responders, health professionals, community volunteers, transport and logistic managers, scientists, and more, women are making critical contributions to address the outbreak each and every day. Yet, women are still underrepresented in public life and decision-making bodies. As revealed in the UN by the Secretary General's report, women are heads of state of government in 22 countries, and only 24.9% national parliamentarians are women. At the current rate of the progress, the gender equality among heads of the government will take another at least 130 years. International Women's Day is a time to reflect on progress made, to call for change, and to celebrate acts of courage and determination by ordinary women who have played an extraordinary role in the history of their country and the country's development and for serving the common man. Women's Day call for women's right to decision making in all areas of life, equal pay, equal sharing of unpaid care and domestic work, and end to all forms of violence against women and girls, and healthcare services that respond to their needs. Women of the world want and deserve an equal future. In our country now, ladies have wetted their hands and contributing in almost every sector, be it politics, space program, atomic energy program, foreign affairs, healthcare, education, banking, IT, whatever sector you talk, the contribution of our women are great. We now even have qualified and trained women pilots serving our country. Ladies have outnumbered men in professions like doctors, teachers, bank officers, IT professionals, and lot more. The very fact that more than 90% nurses are women shows the basic great character a woman who possesses patience, sincerity, dedication, perseverance, caring, sharing, and a whole lots of other traits. Let me very happy to remind all of you in our country in these troubled pandemic times, our economy is being handled by a woman. Our Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. We also have the example of Srimati Sailaja Teacher, our State Health Minister, who is leading the war against the COVID-19 pandemic in our state, standing in the forefront. Our Trivandrum District Collector, Srimati Navojit Kosha, IAS, is doing outstanding contribution. The Chief Guest of our program, Dr. K. Vasugi IAS, I understand she is heading the Department of Farm Information area. And hats off to these ladies for inspiring many young girls and making our nation proud. In earlier times too, ladies have held the topmost position in our country. You take Srimati Madam Indira Gandhi, who was an outstanding personality, outstanding leader who has led the country in the very difficult phase as the Prime Minister of the country. And Pradipya Patel was our President of India. Few noteworthy achievements include women were deployed aboard Indian warship for the first time in 24 years. You all would have read the recent news. All-woman crew vessel MT Swarna Krishna creates history, as it is the first time in the maritime history that a ship is being sailed by all women officers. Recently, advancement include permanent commissioning of women in army. I am also very happy that Government of India has recognized our beloved singer Chitra with Padma Bhushan Award very recently. This year, if you see the budget allocation, the government of India has allocated 6% of its union budget for the schemes benefiting the women. Our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has launched a number of schemes to benefit and empower our ladies in last few years. Amongst his many reforms, one that revolutionized the lives of millions of Indian women is the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Similarly, cooking food using a gas connection may not be a big deal for many, but for the 8 crore beneficiary of Ujala scheme, it is great relief. Further, during the COVID time, number of schemes were inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister. Some of the flagship schemes India government announced towards women empowerment are Beti Bachao, Beti Badhao, save and educate the girl child. And like that, so many schemes are introduced by our government under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji. In ISRO, right from the time I joined, I have seen women employees work hand in hand with their male colleagues in realizing our missions. I have always admired the kind of spirit you ladies have shown, and let me reassure all of you that no opportunity will be denied to you simply because you are a lady. At present, our Joint Secretary for Department of Space is Srimati Sandhya Venugopal Sharma, who is doing exemplary contribution, and the most prestigious, our program, Gaganyaan, the human space flight program, is led by a woman, Dr. Lalitambika, and the director of ADRIN is another woman appointed as head of a unit recently. Likewise, we have n number of ISRO women contributing for the successful missions of ISRO and contributing for the national development. In Lpsc too, we can be proud. Our administrative head, Controller Saraswati Madam, is doing excellent contribution. We have women playing crucial roles in the very critical projects like Semicryo project, electric propulsion area, Gaganyaan related activities, sensor development, computer infrastructure, and so on. It is also heartening to note that the entire control electronics and sensor and transducer wing is led by the women employees very ably in a very efficient way. In my opinion, you all should be proud to be a beautiful woman, and even more to be a proud as an ISRO woman. I conclude by saying that feminism is not about making women stronger. Women are already strong. It is about changing the way the world perceives that strength. Let me once again congratulate the organizing committee for organizing this event safely in a partial digital mode, and once again wish all of you a happy International Women's Day 2021. Let me wish you and your family members a very safe day ahead. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. We feel really privileged to have your supervision and support towards us at all times. Today, we have with us a very special chief guest to grace the occasion, Dr. K. Vasuki, IAS, Director of Agriculture, Farm Information Bureau, Department of Agriculture Development and Farmers Welfare, Government of Kerala. Dr. K. Vasuki is one of the renowned IAS officers in India. She initially pursued a career in medicine and worked as a doctor in Government Medical College, Chennai. Her encounters with the real face of the world, where women were facing lots of hardships, children were suffering from malnutrition and abuse while working as a doctor, has led her to choose Indian Administrative Services. She was determined to eradicate the ills in the society. In 2017, she served as the director of Suchitwa Mission and was highly appreciated for her efforts in implementing the green protocols. And she also made efforts on averting plastic waste. It's due to her consistent efforts, plastic waste was successfully managed out of the National Games held in Kerala in 2015. As the Tirunanthapuram district collector, she was highly commended for her unconventional way of offering leadership during the 2018 floods in the state. I request Dr. K. Vasuki, IAS, to deliver the keynote address.
Good morning, everyone. though we are celebrating a little late, happy Women's Day to all of you. This year's Women's Day theme has been Choose to Challenge, and somehow I love the theme because I am the kind of person who would like to challenge everything that is gender specific, especially if it was that has been culturally and societally programmed. So here I would like to talk about the things that we can challenge and we should challenge. So one thing is, I know there are many women engineers and professionals working in the Liquid Professional Systems Center. My question to all the women employees is that how many of you take a primary responsibility for taking care of either your child or your home or cooking or whatever that goes along with it? Whether it is getting up in the morning, cooking for the entire family, getting the children to school, coming back again to preparing dinner. So how many of you are taking primary responsibility? I am sure most of you would be raising your hands, and if at all there are husbands who help women, it's mostly looked at as something about being magnanimous or being helpful, but that is not it. The primary responsibility of taking care of the family, despite the fact that men and women in that family work, is something that I want to challenge. This has to be challenged. Why? Because we always have been talking about women empowerment. The other day I was just going through this WhatsApp message among lot of WhatsApp messages that are mostly targeted at women, in very funny and hilarious, but generally at the cost of women. This particular message was very refreshing. We have taught an entire generation of women on how to be empowered, but we fail to teach men how to live with an empowered women. The focus has always been women. I'm not saying men have not contributed to women empowerment. There are amazing feminist men, thanks to them, that we have been able to achieve a lot of participation, increased participation of women in the professional space. But my question is that, has it translated correspondingly to an increase in the participation of men in the domestic space? Now that has not happened. So what is the result of all this? Today, an empowered woman, I would say, is the most stressed human being on this planet, because not only she has to manage her job, she has to manage the family, she has to take responsibility for not only her professional responsibilities but also family responsibilities. And from the time she gets up in the morning till she sleeps, she just keeps running like a never-ending machine. Even machines need rest, and talk about humans. Then we have a lot of these sexist remarks which say women are tough bosses, and wherever there are women working, the place is always volatile and whatnot, these kind of messages. And then not to forget mother-in-law, daughter-in-law issues. Now I say, a woman who is so stressed so much, who is not able to spend time for herself, forget about the family, but she doesn't have the me time, which is very much required. She doesn't have any space for personal growth. She doesn't have any space for her physical growth, whatever. She needs to take care of her health. And when I say health, it's not just physical health, which is of course very, very important, but talk about the mental health, emotional health and physical health of this overstressed, empowered and employed woman. Now this is, I feel, is one of the biggest injustices that we don't usually talk about, and this has to be talked. This has to be discussed right from our own homes. We need to talk to men, we need to talk to husbands, we need to talk to fathers, potential fathers, everyone on their equal responsibility in the family space. When I wanted to take up IAS, I was told that IAS is not fit for a woman. One cannot take care of her family. So from that day on, a lot of questions used to come. And as you do get married and get kids, you slowly understand how much of the mentality towards a working woman is actually not helping us. For example, even though both me and my husband are IAS officers, always the questions are thrown at me asking me, do you know to cook? And it's not, doesn't start from marriage. You know, when you come of a certain age, we always ask the girl children, have you learned to cook? Do you know to cook? But we don't ask the man the same question. So my husband would be standing right next to me, but he wouldn't be asked the question. And the questions like, you know, how are you able to balance your family and work life? So again, another question that is always targeted at women and not men. Now, these are the attitudes that I would like to challenge, and this has to start from home. And some people say that, you know, only women are capable of multitasking. I'm sorry, I absolutely do not agree with that. It's not that because, you know, we are capable of multitasking. Yes, of course, being emotionally more intelligent, we are better managers and leaders. But that doesn't mean that it's only because we are capable of multitasking we are doing, you know, taking care of the family. It's because it's been forced upon us, because we feel we don't have a choice. And that is why we are multitasking, because men are just not brought up that way. And sometimes, who is at fault for this? It is us women ourselves. You know, we have a boy and a girl at home. We always ask the girl to learn about cooking, to learn the household chores, make her do the household chores, whereas the boy is allowed to go out, play cricket, football, or, you know, drive a car, drive a bike. But girls are always limited in their movement outside the house, and always we limit them inside the house. That itself is changing the perspective of a girl and a boy. These are very, very subtle signals and messages and actions, but then they have a huge impact as the society at large. So each and every one of us as a mother have a responsibility to give a gender neutral space for our children to grow up. You know, that brings me to the second point which I would like to challenge, is the obsession that the society has on a woman's body. No, not on a man's body, but a woman's body. When I say what is this obsession is all about, I would like to talk about a few things which are less discussed about. And as a matter of fact, it's all a taboo or a stigma not to talk about this. And what I would like to convey here is that, you know, we talk about chastity. You know, in Malayalam it's called charidriyam, and in Tamil it's called karpu, and whatever, you know, happens in different languages. Basically chastity, virginity, all of this have become an exclusively feminine concept. Now who made them? We made it. This I would like to challenge. Why chastity or virginity does not apply to a man? Or is it not equally sacrosanct for a man? And always the family honor is attached to the chastity and virginity of a woman, but not that of a man. This is a typical way of ensuring that we subjugate our women and limit her freedom of movement. What has happened as a result of this particular attitude is that when a woman gets raped, you know, now rape is a crime. We have a lot of crimes in our society that needs to be handled very seriously. There is no doubt on that. We have murders, we have thefts, we have economic thefts, so many crimes. But of all the crimes, rape is the only crime where the shame is passed on to the victim and not the culprit or the perpetrator of the crime. Now this itself is something to be challenged. Now why is that so? You know, when a woman is raped or sexually assaulted, it's not just the physical injury or the trauma that she has to go through. More than that, it is a psychological, emotional and social trauma that she has to go through, all just because we have constructed our societal and mental constructs in such a manner that this is something that is to be ashamed of. Now let me, I'm glad that so many Me Too movements have come, and a lot of people are coming out in the open and talking about the sexual harassment. Now let me ask you a question. Which among us have not been sexually harassed one time or more? Every one of us would have faced molestation at some point or the other. And it's us mothers who always teach our girl children to be careful of men, to dress well, to dress properly so that you do not attract men's attention. But how many times do fathers or mothers teach our boys not to gape or gawk at women or not to talk about women in a particular way? Do we really sit down with our boys and talk about them to them? We don't, because we always feel that the responsibility of guarding the family honor and the woman's body is only that of the woman. So that is something I would like to change. Moreover, because there is a potential of a girl getting harassed or raped, we restrict her freedom of movement to such an extent that I don't think her development is complete without her complete exposure to the entire world. Whereas a boy is allowed to go play cricket, he is allowed to play football in the sun, and thanks to all the obsession with the clothing that we need to cover ourselves completely, that we don't get any vitamin D. Thanks to that, we get a lot of arthritis and we crib about it later when we are 40 and 50. So this obsession I would like with the woman's body is something I would like to challenge again for another specific reason. Because as I was saying, because a girl is potential of being harassed, we restrict her movement. If we look at, whereas if you see boys, when they all come of certain age, they exercise their freedom, sometimes irresponsibly. They drive their bikes with so much speed that one goes along the road, you get so scared the way a bike just zooms in front of you, and there are racers, reckless driving. And I have seen so many young boys right from my college days, who get into serious accidents. They injure their limbs, they lose their limbs, their eyesight, sometimes and many times their lives too. The probability of a boy getting killed or injured in a road traffic accident, and if you see the probability of a girl getting raped, if you see the probability, the road traffic accident is actually more. But that doesn't allow us to, that doesn't make us to restrict our boys' movement, but we restrict our girls' movement. Why? Again, the obsession with the woman's body. Now, can't we look at rape as just another accident? It's just another crime. Without all this social, mental and emotional constructs that we have made around this rape and sexual harassment and the woman's body, the moment this construct is broken, I don't think any mother would be actually scared of a girl moving out. And we should equip our girl children to, I feel, I have a daughter and I have a son, and I have decided that just because she's a girl, I'm not going to, make her, give her the fear of going out or give her the fear of being harassed. I would never like to give that idea. I want to teach her Krav Maga. I research so much, which is the best self-defense martial arts, and I want her to become an expert in martial arts. I don't mind if she develops manly and muscles and everything. Again, another obsession with a woman's body. We are supposed to be slender and feminine. We need to define and break all these definitions. We don't admire a woman for being muscular or being physically fit. That doesn't make her attractive. So I can go on for hours talking about this. My only point is, let us equip our girls to defend themselves. And why, we always say that women is a weaker sex. I always say, you go to a lion and you keep, when it is a cub, you keep telling it's a cat, it will believe that it's a cat, it will forget that it's a lion. That's what we are doing to our girl children. If you see, we look at 4 parameters to say that men are stronger. One is height, weight, muscle strength, and the speed or the agility. These are the 4 factors that we see. But if you see, there are, though the best performing man and the best performing woman, just like the tallest man and the tallest woman, yes, the man would be the tallest. But if you see, there are so many men shorter than me in the society. So individual differences in strength always exist. It's another societal and cultural context that we give our girl children, that you are not meant to play cricket, you are not meant to play football. My question is, how many equal opportunities are we offering our girls and boys to equally play football or cricket or whatever? Because from young, a boy is playing sports. He is allowed to go out and play in the sun, but the girls are not. Even if we see our schools or curriculum, wherever we go, it's always the boys who are encouraged to take up sports and not the girls. Then how do you expect the girl child to develop her muscles? So this is another societal construct we need to break. A woman can be strong too, and she can be strong enough to protect herself. There is no doubt on that. I strongly believe that. We have women in combat, in armies in certain countries. Things are changing. Things which are traditionally considered a man's job are increasingly being done by women, and women are proving not their mental strength but their physical strength too. Let us take such examples. I always ask the people who listen to my talk this question: how many of the men who are listening to the speech can take on Mary Kom? You know, I don't think many can. So we can make Mary Kom out of every girl child, and at least that should be our effort, and that should be our mentality, attitude. And I can challenge everything, you know, and I would like you to challenge every subtle thing, everything that we unconsciously do to convey to a girl that she is the lesser citizen or a weaker sex. You know, these messages keep coming to us, and not just to the girl child but also to the boys. And as long as these differential messages keep going in the society, there will be violence against women. There will be inequality in every way. And when I say inequality, I believe that men and women are different but equal, just like every human being on this planet. Every human being is different, is unique, but we are all human beings at the end of the day. We are all equal, and we are all entitled for equal opportunities. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my thoughts on you. I hope this changes at least a little bit of thinking at home. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That was indeed motivating. We are so privileged to have you amongst us. On behalf of Lpsc community, we extend our sincere thanks for gracing this occasion. I now invite Shri M.S. Suresh, Associate Director, Lpsc Vallimala, to offer felicitations.
Hello everyone. Happy Women's Day wishes to all of you. As we all know, we are here to celebrate International Women's Day, the presence of women in society and their achievements. It's a global day celebrating the social, cultural and political achievements of women. The day marks a call for accelerating women's equality. The UN theme for this year International Women's Day is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in COVID-19 World. It is pertinent that we have a theme which is highly relevant and in perfect sync with the global situation. As all of us know, COVID-19 has changed the entire world and has given us a new world to live with. During this difficult period, women are at the forefront in the battle against COVID-19 as frontline and health sector workers, as scientists, doctors, nurses, and caretakers. Yet they get paid 11% less globally than their male counterparts. When women lead, we see positive results. Some of the most efficient and exemplary responses to the COVID-19 pandemic were led by women. In our Kerala state, the fight against COVID-19 was led by our Health Minister, Srimati K.K. Shailaja. She was among the most influential women of 2020 as per many surveys. Her leadership qualities made her to achieve such a recognition. New Zealand became the first country to eradicate COVID-19, and it is headed by a woman Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern. If you are looking around the world, we see that women are excelling with their leadership in many areas. Women's full and effective participation and leadership in all areas of life drives progress for everyone. Yet, women are still underrepresented in public life and decision making, as revealed in UN Secretary General's recent report. Women are head of state or government only in 22 countries, and only 25% of national parliamentarians are women. The world is moving towards achieving gender equality, and this change is something that is needed and very much essential. Women started realizing that they too can have careers and future. More and more women have started taking up jobs and have been working in many sectors of the economy. Now, there is no space where women aren't working and excelling at what they are doing. The contribution of women in every sphere of life is massive. Choose to Challenge is the theme chosen for this year by International Organization for Women. Choose to Challenge means to make choice of change, challenge to emerge successfully, and to create an inclusive world and remove gender bias and inequality. Congratulations to all the winners of various competitions conducted as part of International Women's Day 2021, and I especially appreciate the organizers for meticulously conducting the celebration in virtual mode, as well as for conducting a blood donation camp on March 8th, the International Women's Day. To conclude, I wish we attain the gender equality at the earliest and start celebrating the anniversary of achieving the gender equality. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Sri A. Shuja, Deputy Director, MBIT, to offer felicitations.
Respected Director Lpsc, Dr. V. Narayanan, our Chief Guest, Director of Agriculture, Government of Kerala, Dr. K. Vasugi IAS, and my dear colleagues in Lpsc and MBIT, a good day to all of you. At the outset, let me thank the organizers of this function for inviting me to be the part of the validatory function here. This International Women's Day is celebrated annually on March 8th, and the basic idea is to celebrate the achievements of our women folk all around the world in all walks of life, be it political or scientific or technical or whatever may be the field. We are celebrating the achievements of women friends on this day. The year 2020 hit us with a crisis in the form of COVID pandemic, and the entire world has come to a standstill. Many countries had been shattered politically as well as economically. But one interesting observation in this period is the emergence of women leaders worldwide. And it is very interesting to note how these leaders handles the pandemic situation and the economic situation in their countries. Few examples will be New Zealand's PM Jacinda Ardern, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, Norway's PM Erna Solberg, Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen, and in our Kerala itself, our Health Minister Srimati K.K. Shailaja. They are all golden examples how women folk can lead in a critical situation. Even a lot of dynamic faces we see, a lot of women IAS officers also we saw in this COVID period, as well as in the previous flood situation, how they handle the situations everybody knows in our country. They demonstrate the world how a good leadership should be. And all of them had one characteristics. All of them believed that, first of all, you should be a humanist first, a nationalist later. So, for example, in the case of Germany itself, you know, that when Italy was struggling with COVID pandemic, Germany offered their help, and many of the patients from Italy were flown to Germany for treatment. So, such a humanistic approach those people took. That was true for, I think, all these leaders which I quoted. Their advantages, they could convince people. They understand the problem and they could communicate people. And because of their heritage, their people also believed them. They had trust in them. So that is why they could manage efficiently, and that is how they could communicate to the people and what is our current situation and what we should do. All they could, effortlessly, they could do it. That we have to, in fact, they handle these situations much more efficiently than their male counterparts. This year, the theme of International Women's Day is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 world. So, let us touch upon some points. See, of course, we have to celebrate the achievements of all the world leaders we have just mentioned. Not only that, there are countless nameless and faceless women who worked in this situation fighting against COVID, and there are many successful stories. So we have to appreciate their achievements and we should celebrate definitely. Then another important key word in this theme is leadership. So what is the significance? So during COVID times, you know, that many of the women were forced to be within their household, they lost their job. Finally, they had to do the domestic work, etc. And what was its impact? So those people, many of the people were deprived of maybe higher education or better job opportunities. All these are all real facts. So how to, the consequences like this. See, every year we are celebrating Women's Day and such movements. And whatever we have achieved in the last so many years, it will be simply wiped out if we are not enabling our women to achieve excellence in their professions and other education fields. So to achieve that, there is no other way other than bringing our women to leadership roles. So there should be leaders in all decision-making forums. That is a need of the hour. Even though it is a fact that women can perform very well in whatever field they are assigned, still their presence is very peripheral in political as well as diplomatic fields. That is true even in our even the health work or medical field also. More than 70% of the workforce in medical field are women. But if coming to the senior positions or the leadership positions, if you see, again, the numbers are very, very less. This situation should change. So to achieve excellence in the post-COVID scenario, there should be a new style of leadership. It should be different from the current way of doing the command and control. I know everything, I will dictate, you simply obey. This type of leadership should change. So the new leadership should be governed by empathy, compassion, discussions, and inclusion. So these are all generally treated as feminine characteristics. So in these aspects, women leaders can definitely do better, they can perform better than their corresponding male counterparts. That is what I feel. So what is the need of, or what is the importance of women coming to leadership position? That also let us spend a little more time. That is because the leaders are only deciding where the funding should go. Whether it should go to, say, defense purposes, or you should spend these things for socio-economic developments like maybe vaccine developments or infrastructure development or food security, all those things. So this decision, leaders only can make. So unless women are not there in those forums where such decisions are made, they will be sidelined. It should not happen. So for overall development as well as for an equal future in the sense that women also should get the equal future and equal roles as men in all the activities. That is the requirement. For that, as I was telling, the women should come to the leadership roles. There is no other way. And sometimes it may not be very easy, and probably women have to fight for it. And without fighting or expressing yourself, your deserved recognition or position may not come also. So that way, these type of celebrations and discussions are really useful in those aspects. So there should be a commitment to ensure that women in leadership is not an exception, but it is a norm. So in ISRO also, I think that there is a fairly good representation for women in technical as well as administrative positions. And of course, it may not be enough, but let's hope that more representation will be coming. So let us hope that these type of discussions will throw up more opportunities or more discussions to ensure that more women are coming to leadership position, and that way let this particular theme, let it become meaningful. So wishing you all the best, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Srimati K.N. Saraswati, Controller Lpsc, to offer felicitation.
Respected Director Lpsc, Chief Guest Dr. Vasuki, Director of Agriculture and Farm Information Bureau, all LPMC members, JCM, Staff Association, ADOSF representatives, senior officers, and my dear friends. A very good morning to all of you. We have assembled here today to celebrate the International Women's Day for 2021 as we have been doing every year in the past. International Women's Day is a global day to celebrate the social, economic, cultural and political achievements of women while also making a call to action for strengthening gender equality and accelerating women's empowerment. This year, the theme for International Women's Day is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World. It celebrates the remarkable effort by women and girls around the globe to shape a more equitable future and the recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a recognized fact that when women lead, we see positive results. Some of the most efficient and exemplary responses to the COVID-19 pandemic were led by women. And women, especially young women, are at the forefront of diverse and inclusive movements online and on the streets for social justice, climate change, and equality in all parts of the world. This year's International Women's Day is a rallying cry for generation equality to act for an equal future for all. It's praiseworthy to mention that majority of the frontline workers during the COVID pandemic have been women. They have worked relentlessly despite all barriers. In the last 1 year, women have borne the brunt of a double burden. While they have worked tirelessly on the field, sometimes even without basic personal protective equipment, they have had to cope up with additional responsibilities at the home front. Lockdowns also meant no household help, no daycare facilities and no schools, thus adding to the unending list of responsibilities shouldered by women. Despite everything, in the last 1 year, women in healthcare have silently continued the good work. They have taken care of others regardless of the risk to their own lives and the lives of their near and dear ones. They have helped to heal others at a huge cost to their own health. Countries led by women leaders have fared significantly better during the pandemic. They were quicker to lock down and had lesser fatalities. Women leaders have also been more empathetic and connected better with the masses. Gender shouldn't be a factor in whether or not a person can be a great leader. A person's leadership abilities should depend on their individual strength and personality traits. However, in many cases, women aren't encouraged to take on leadership roles as often as their male counterparts, contributing to an imbalance of who's in power. Women are great leaders because we are able to balance professional and personal leadership skills. It is easier to approach a women leader with a personal request or a sensitive question. Women care about their team and their well-being, which includes their performance at work and their work-life balance. I also find women more proactive in becoming mentors, and sometimes it's already such an open and communicative relationship that the transition to mentor is easy. Most women are naturally empathetic and value relationships. This enables them to have a strong understanding of what drives and motivates people and how to acknowledge different people for their performance. Women make great leaders because we take the time to listen instead of reacting right away. We appreciate people and their viewpoints, whether they are right or wrong. We hear them out and then make our decision. We tend to give people chances that no others do. One of the key aspects of leadership is the ability to help your team members develop their own skills and strengths. Women are naturally nurturing, which in the best of scenarios can translate to helping those around you succeed. Wearing many hats is often a regular occurrence in a woman's life. They often balance careers, households, and even aging parents and other things. Women pivot, adjust, and focus on solutions. Resting in the doom and gloom can be time consuming. So many shift to find positive solutions to life and work problems. I believe women make phenomenal leaders because they are experts at making the impossible seem possible. And sometimes, on a good day, they even make it look effortless. Women are pragmatic, resilient, and usually able to maneuver tricky situations with grace. Their perspectives are born out of a mix of trial by fire and sheer fortitude. They look at the world with bravery and are able to piece together the world around them like a complex puzzle. In India, we have seen women doing the business of making and selling masks to protect people from the COVID pandemic. Thus, they could generate enough revenue to pull on day-to-day life amidst the lockdown situations. Women employees in ISRO did not lag behind in spreading the message of remaining safe at home and social distancing to prevent the spread of COVID virus. It's needless to mention that during the COVID-19 crisis, we have heard about women leaders doing a better job on new research too. Even in the process of bringing out vaccine against COVID, women scientists were actively involved and the world has recognized their contributions. One study found that outcomes related to COVID-19, including number of cases and deaths, were systematically better in countries led by women. It proves that women leaders can excel well in containing the environmental absurdities, be it COVID or anything else. Let me conclude by saying that excellence in the leadership qualities of women cannot be withered away even by COVID or gender inequalities. But on the other hand, we have seen during the last 1 year that women could resist and will continue to resist and survive against any pandemic situation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now it is time to honor women employees of Lpsc who will be superannuating between March 2021 to February 2022. Srimati Vijayamma T, Senior Project Assistant, Stores Division, Srimati Lakshmi S, Personal Secretary, CMG, and Srimati Jaga TS, Senior Project Assistant, Accounts.
Dear all, this is the time we acknowledge the talent of our participants in the various competitions held in connection with Lpsc Valyamala. I invite Dr. V. Narayanan, Director Lpsc, Associate Director Lpsc, Shri M.S. Suresh, and Srimati K.N. Saraswati, Controller Lpsc, to give away the awards. Dr. Ashwati S. has won special prize in elocution Hindi competition and second prize in Mehendi competition.
नमस्कार। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस के अवसर पर नेतृत्व में महिलाओं की भूमिका के बारे में चंद शब्दों में आज यहाँ कहने जा रही हूँ। महिला नेता पुरुष नेता की तुलना में अधिक परिवर्तनकारी है।
Miss Anjumol MS, second prize in elocution competition.
As a human family, we have to think about how everyone is addressed within the family. They have to be equal. They have to be given the equal opportunities. They have to be treated equally, and equality is all over the place, yes.
Miss Lippy Roy, special prize in solo song.
To the right, can't you see that? Yeah, we're paying with love tonight. It's not about the money, money, money. We don't need your money, money.
Miss Sridevi Bhatt, third prize in elocution and solo song competition.
अभी मुझ में कहीं बाकी थोड़ी सी है जिंदगी, जगी धड़कन नहीं, जाना जिंदा तो मैं तो अभी.
Miss V. Chandana Deepti, group dance competition, special prize. Shri Akula Akhil Praveen, third prize in quiz competition. Srimati Amala S. Nair, first prize in Tambola competition. Second prize in elocution competition, first prize in group song competition, and second prize in Rangoli competition.
അടുക്കളയിൽ നിന്നിരുന്ന സ്ത്രീകൾ അണിയറയിൽ നിന്ന് അരങ്ങത്തേക്ക് വന്നത് വളരെ ശക്തമായിട്ടായിരുന്നു. തനിക്ക് എത്തിപ്പെടാനാകാത്ത മേഖലകളില്ല എന്ന് വീണ്ടും വീണ്ടും ഉറക്കെ പ്രഖ്യാപിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഓരോ പുലരിയും പുലരുന്നത് ഞങ്ങളുടെ പുതുമയ്ക്ക് വേണ്ടിയാണ് എന്ന് പ്രഖ്യാപിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് സ്ത്രീകൾ ശക്തമായ മുന്നേറ്റം തന്നെ നടത്തി.
Srimati Manjula CP, 3rd prize in Mehendi competition. Srimati Minu P has won 1st prize in Rangoli competition and 3rd prize in Tambola competitions. Srimati Shama MS has won total of 4 prizes with 2nd prize in Rangoli competition, 3rd prize in Mehendi and quiz competitions and special prize in group dance competition.
Srimati Shruti JS, 2nd prize in Rangoli competition, Elocution Malayalam 1st prize and Dub Smash 1st prize.
ഭാരത സംസ്കാരത്തിൽ ഭാര്യാഭർത്തൃബന്ധത്തിൻ്റെ അടിസ്ഥാനം സ്നേഹമാണ്. എന്നാൽ സ്ത്രീ ഇന്നതേ ആകാവൂ എന്ന് പുരുഷൻ പറയരുത്. പുരുഷനാകുന്ന ചെടിച്ചട്ടിയിൽ വളർത്തുന്ന വൃക്ഷം ആകരുത് സ്ത്രീ. കാരണം ചെടിച്ചട്ടിയിലെ വൃക്ഷത്തിന് അധികം വളരാനാകില്ല, അത് ദുർബലമാണ്. സ്ത്രീയിൽ ശക്തിയുണ്ട്, അവളെ വളരാൻ അനുവദിച്ചാൽ മാത്രം മതി. അപ്പോൾ അവൾ കുടുംബത്തിനും സമൂഹത്തിനും രാഷ്ട്രത്തിനും തണലായി തീരുന്നത് നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ കഴിയും.
Srimati Ashwati Ashok won 1st prize in Rangoli competition. Srimati Bindu P won 3rd prize in solo song and 1st prize in group song.
കറുകപ്പുൽ പാടത്തെ കുറുവാലിപ്പൈക്കളെ കസ്തൂരിമാൻ കുരുന്നേ കാണാൻ ചേലുള്ള കണ്ണിൽ മൈയുള്ള കണ്ണനെ കണ്ടായോ അരയാൽ ചില്ലയിലൂ ഞാലാടുമ്പം മിന്നയം കണ്ടായോ.
Srimati Grishma P Rajan won 1st prize in group song and 3rd prize in Rangoli competition.
സന്ധ്യ പൂത്തതിവിടെ ആഹാദി സർഗതാളമാർന്നതിവിടെ ബോധനിലാപ്പാൽ കറന്നും മാമുനിമാർ തപം ചെയ്തും നാഗഗംഗയൊഴുകി വന്നതിവിടെ ആദിയുഷ സന്ധ്യ പൂത്തതിവിടെ ആഹാദി സർഗതാളമാർന്നതിവിടെ.
Srimati Jaga TS won 2nd prize in group song competition. Srimati Lakshmi K won 2nd prize in Dub Smash competition, 2nd prize in Mehendi and 1st prize in Rangoli and 3rd prize in group song competitions.
ബാഹു, എന്താ ഇത്? ബാധിക്കപ്പെട്ടവനെ എന്തിനാണ് ഭയപ്പെടുത്തുന്നത്?
വഞ്ചകന്മാരുടെ മനസ്സിലുള്ള വിഷം മര്യാദയ്ക്ക് ചോദിച്ചാൽ വെളിയിൽ വരില്ല രാജൻ.
നീ പരിധി വിടുന്നു ബാഹുബലി.
ഒരു പൂർണ്ണ ഗർഭിണിയുടെ കൈകളിൽ വിലങ്ങ് വെച്ച് വിചാരണ നടത്തുന്ന ഈ സഭ എന്നേ പരിധി വിട്ട് കഴിഞ്ഞു അമ്മേ.
പൂർണ്ണ ഗർഭിണിയോ ശിശുവോ വൃദ്ധയോ നീയോ ഞാനോ വിചാരണാ രീതി ഒന്നു തന്നെ. നടന്നത് എന്താണെന്ന് അറിയുമോ നിനക്ക്?
എന്താ നടന്നത് ദേവസേനെ?
ശിവക്ഷേത്രത്തിൽ സ്ത്രീകൾ ഒരു വഴിയിലൂടെ പോകാൻ പറഞ്ഞു. ആ സമയത്ത് ഇയാൾ അവരുടെ ദേഹത്ത് കൈവച്ച് തടവി. എന്റെ ശരീരത്തിലും കൈവയ്ക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി. അവന്റെ വിരലുകൾ വെട്ടി ഞാൻ.
നീ ചെയ്തത് തെറ്റ്. സ്ത്രീകളുടെ മേൽ കൈവച്ചാൽ വെട്ടി എറിയേണ്ടത് വിരലുകളല്ല, തലയാണ്.
Srimati Mini J won 2nd prize in solo song and solo dance competition. Srimati Snida RS won second prize in Dub Smash competition and third prizes in group song and elocution Malayalam competitions.
ശ്രീമതി മിഷേൽ ഒബാമയുടെ വാക്കുകൾ കടമെടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഒരു സ്ത്രീ തനിക്ക് നേടാനിരിക്കുന്നതിന് അതിർവരമ്പുകളില്ല. അതെ, അത് വളരെ സത്യമാണ്. നാം ഏറെ നേടിയിരിക്കുന്നു, ഇനിയും ഏറെ നേടാനിരിക്കുന്നു. നമ്മളിൽ അന്തർലീനമായ ശക്തിയോ അത് വളരെ വലുത് തന്നെയാണ്. നമുക്കിനി നേടിയെടുക്കാനുള്ളവയ്ക്കെല്ലാം തന്നെ അതിനുള്ള ശക്തി നമ്മളിൽ തന്നെയുണ്ട് എന്ന് തന്നെയാണ് അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം.
Srimati Ramya SU has won 4 prizes with first prize in elocution, dub smash and mehendi competition and third prize in rangoli competition.
മണ്ണാങ്കട്ട രണ്ടുപേരും മണ്ടത്തരങ്ങളൊന്നും എഴുന്നള്ളിക്കില്ലെന്ന് ഉറപ്പ് തന്നിട്ട് അങ്ങോട്ട് കൂട്ടിക്കൊണ്ട് വന്നത്. ആയാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഹിന്ദി ഒന്നുമല്ല, സർവന്റിന്റെ അർത്ഥം. എനിക്ക് കിട്ടണില്ല. പഠിപ്പൊന്നും പോലെ താഴോട്ടല്ലേ മേലോട്ടല്ലേ മേലോട്ടല്ലേ. സ്കൂളിൽ പഠിക്കുമ്പോ ഡാൻസിനും പാട്ടിനും ഒക്കെ ഞാൻ മിടുക്കിയായിരുന്നു. സമൂഹ ഗാനം വരെ ഞാൻ ഒറ്റയ്ക്ക് പാടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഓ ഐ സീ. യെസ്, ഐ ആം ഇൻ ദി സീ. അന്ന് എന്നെ സിനിമയിൽ അഭിനയിക്കാൻ വിളിച്ചതാ. അന്ന് ഇതുപോലെ തടിയൊന്നും ഇല്ലായിരുന്നു. സീലിംഗ് ബ്യൂട്ടി എന്നാ അന്ന് എന്നെ എല്ലാരും വിളിച്ചിരുന്നത്. സ്ലിം ബ്യൂട്ടി എന്നാ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്.
Srimati Shrija R has won second prize in solo song competition and first prize in group song, dub smash and solo dance Srimati Sri Ambika R, third prize in group song competition.
തന്നന്നം താനന്നം താളത്തിലാടി മന്ദാരക്കൊമ്പത്തോരു ഞാലിലാടി ഒന്നിച്ചു രണ്ടോമൽ പൈങ്കിളികൾ ഒന്നാനാം കുന്നിന്റെ ഓമനകൾ കാടിന്റെ കിങ്ങിണികൾ തന്നന്നം താനന്നം താളത്തിലാടി മന്ദാരക്കൊമ്പത്തോരു ഞാലിലാടി.
Srimati Sudha Devi has won first prize in solo song and second prize in group song.
ഏഴു സുന്ദര രാത്രികൾ ഏകാന്ത സുന്ദര രാത്രികൾ വികാര തരളിത ഗാത്രികൾ വിവാഹപൂർവ രാത്രികൾ ഇനി ഏഴു സുന്ദര രാത്രികൾ ഏകാന്ത സുന്ദര രാത്രികൾ വികാര തരളിത ഗാത്രികൾ വിവാഹപൂർവ രാത്രികൾ ഇനി ഏഴു സുന്ദര രാത്രികൾ.
Srimati Usha CR has won consolation prize in solo song competition and third prize in group song event.
മിഴിയോരം നിലവലയോ പനിനീർമണിയോ കുളിരോ മഞ്ഞിൽ വിരിഞ്ഞ പൂവേ പറയൂ നീ ഇളം പൂവേ.
Srimati Saraswati Ammal, group song, third prize. Srimati Sindhu TL, Rangoli, third prize. Srimati Sujata L, second prize in dub smash. Srimati Sunila KJ, first prize in Rangoli. Miss Katta Divya, solo song, third prize.
ఏదో ఒక రాగం పిలిచింది వేళ నాలో నిదురించే గతమంతా కదిలేలా ఏదో ఒక రాగం పిలిచింది వేళ నాలో నిదురించే.
Congratulations to all the winners and participants who have earnestly participated in making this event a success. Let's mark the end of this function with a word of thanks, appreciation and gratitude to all those who have made this year's Women's Day program a grand success. I request Ms. Chandana Deepthi, Secretary, IWD Committee 2021, to propose the vote of thanks.
Dear all, warm greetings. It is my privilege to be proposing the vote of thanks on behalf of the IWD 2021 Organizing Committee. First and foremost, heartfelt thanks to our Director, Dr. V. Narayanan, Associate Director, Shri M.S. Suresh, Controller, Srimati K.N. Saraswati, and Deputy Director, MVIT, Shri A. Shuja, who despite their busy schedule have found time to grace this occasion and address Lpsc community. We are grateful to our Chief Guest, Dr. K. Vasuki, Director of Agriculture, Farm and Information Bureau, Government of Kerala, for accepting our request at once and delivering a thought-provoking address. Sincere thanks to SBF and Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Sciences for joining hands together and organizing a blood donation camp and Women's Day and thereby contributing to a noble cause. An event of this magnitude cannot happen overnight. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of dedicated colleagues. A big thanks to IWD members and subcommittee members for organizing and making this event a grand success. At this juncture, I'd like to highlight a few initiatives taken. For the first time, we have organized a quiz competition for both men and women. We have also introduced a new competition in this year's celebration. I cannot thank the chairperson of IWD 2021 enough for holding our hand and guiding us throughout for ensuring a smooth and effective organization of all events. Special mention of thanks to various departments of Lpsc for facilitating the organizing of this event, especially CISGG for enabling us to organize events in a virtual manner. Various other departments include CMG, Canteen, TOMD. Special mention of thanks to all of them for ensuring we organize this event in a befitting manner. Mention of thanks to participants for their earnest participation, judges for evaluating all participants. I conclude by thanking everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It has been a great pleasure.
Once again recollecting the famous quotes. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the water to create many ripples. Yes, let us race to cast stones to create many ripples and continue towards progress. Thus, we come to the end of this year's International Women's Day celebrations. Thank you all once again.